Very much.
Now, I think there are a lot of housing problems and shortages in areas that you are operating in, but you have focused on eMalahleni. Why eMalahleni and Duvha Park specifically?
Yeah, eMalahleni, because as you know, is the area where we've been mining coal for more than 100 years as Anglo American. Mm-hmm. And as Anglo American, as you said in your intro, we spend about 5 billion rands globally in South Africa on the housing of employees. And if you have got a mining right to mine in Witbank, and in that eMalahleni area, we've got about 10 mines in and around the Mpumalanga areas. And those mines have got to have social and labor plans that are aligned with the integrated development plans of municipalities. Mm-hmm. And so it's really a statutory requirement to build the houses for employees. But not just that. We're doing it because it is the right thing to do. I mean, employees have got to be able to have decent housing. I mean, the DMR did statistics last year which demonstrated that most of the employees who live in single-sex hostels, very many years after democracy, are actually contributing quite seriously to deaths in the mining industry. I mean, at some point, those deaths were around 800. They are now just hovering in the region of 100. So when you have got stable employees with full houses, and as we're doing in Duvha and Spring Valley, in fact, it does improve productivity, profitability, but also ensure that people have got dignity in their own lives.
414 houses, does that equate to the rest of all your workers working at these particular mines, or is it only for particular miners?
It's for all our workers. Remember, we've got about 9,000 more or less employees, full-time employees working for Anglo American coal in that part of the world of Mpumalanga and eMalahleni more specifically. So the 400 or so who have taken up these houses are in the other part. There's another 249, as your intro is saying. So we are aware that the challenge is massive out there. I mean, Witbank has got a problem, or eMalahleni rather has got a big problem. People are moving in there en masse because they think that they can, the area can provide housing. So the ability of the movement of people there and the concomitant resources that people must be provided for by government they're not tallied. That is why, therefore, we do need to get ourselves involved in supplying the houses.
Is this only for employees of Anglo, or is it open to everybody?
No, the development is actually for everybody. But what we do as Anglo American, we assist our employees. I mean, in this case of Duvha Park and Spring Valley, we worked with the developers in a unique concept to put in bulk infrastructure. So when our employees, therefore, access these houses, they, for instance, would already have an advantage in their bank, as it were, in the bond itself, of an amount above, north, in fact, of 60,000. And so they can use that to put up the fences and so on and so forth, and take that up. And if you look at those areas, actually, you'll be so amazed. And I think gone really are the days of single-sex hostels for mine workers. And this is really a model. And that's why we've been able to showcase it to the world out there.
And what kind of housing are we talking about? Is it similar to the regular RDPs that we've seen, or is it family units, so to speak?
No, it's actually family units. I mean, it's what you have in the suburbs, in the townships, or suburban houses. It's really suburban houses in a suburban area, more of an urbane environment. And I think it goes a long way in, as it were, in improving the confidence levels and the dignity of the employees working in the mining sector.
Is it affordable, though, for the workers?
No, it is very much affordable. I mean, Anglo American has been quite competitive in the subsidies we give to our employees. I was informed, in fact, that we give between 5,000 and 9,000 rands per employee to enable them to either buy their own houses, build them, or even stay in company-allocated houses. So, I mean, I think it's important that we do so. I think that the South African economy has been founded on the back of mining, as you know, and mining boosts manufacturing and boosts the economy. With the 2% growth rate that Siyabonga Gama spoke about earlier today in that breakfast with the minister on this morning, the New Age breakfast, it does demonstrate, in fact, that mining can continue to be a central plank in the South African economy.
Now, are you earlier said there is obviously some partners that you are working with. Are these the only partners that you're working with, or are there others in order to make this possible for the workers to get housing?
Yeah, I think that the partners, remember, will involve the developers, like in the Witbank area, where clearly the municipality, because of the challenge I mentioned earlier, cannot afford to put in all the facilities there. So we do work with other developers. We do work with the trade union movement organized within Anglo American. We do work with commercial banks, because commercial banks, as you know, are important here, but also government. The various provincial and national departments of housing.
Now, we have heard about stories that miners acquire housing, and then, of course, they would rent these houses out and go stay in shacks. You don't think that this will be a similar problem that you will experience there?
Yeah, I think if you look at the houses that we offer in the eMalahleni area, I mean, they're not RDP, typical RDP houses. They are really, houses that you have in any other suburbs. And that on its own obviates the need for employees to do those dubious schemes where they sell the houses. But clearly, I cannot say that the system is foolproof. But I do think that the incentive and the way the houses are, it does in fact prevent workers from doing that sort of thing. And if you look at Marikana and in the Platinum Belt, generally in the Platinum Valley, that's a big problem there. Where people get these subsidies and they go and rent them out and then have 2 families and a whole lot of things. But in the Witbank coalfield, we don't have evidence of that. But clearly, if there is, it's a matter for the prosecuting authorities to pursue.
Now, except for the houses, what other incentives or benefits are you giving to your employees? Because it seems like you've got a very happy employee base that even gets houses, as you indicated, between 4,000 and 9,000 rand.
Between 5 and 9,000
rand that they get for housing.
Yeah, no, but there are a whole lot of other benefits. I mean, if you're a senior employee, you get a total cost to company structure benefit that enables you to buy a house wherever you want. But this one in particular, and as you know, the people who dig out the coal, in our case, are employees who work in these mines deep under the belly of the earth, totally unnoticed. And I think those, for me, are heroes and heroines.
Yes.
And therefore, you do need, as you say, to give them a whole lot of benefits. And we do believe that the salaries that we're offering them, the packages that we're offering them, as well as the various benefits in health. I mean, we've got the biggest HIV/AIDS program as Anglo Americans. We started it when I was in the presidency, as you remember, years ago. And you remember our positions that were taken on HIV and AIDS at the time. And Anglo American became a groundbreaker. And on average, more than 80% of our total workforce get free ARVs if they are already positive. And so I think that for me is groundbreaking in the mining industry.
Fantastic news there, Mr. Khumalo. It seems like there's going to be a lot of people now calling your number to get a job from Anglo.
Yeah, we're doing our best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us in studio. That was Bheki Khumalo, the head of corporate affairs, mining and property rights at Anglo American, here in studio with us. Wonderful news there. Well, that's your business news for now. Still ahead. Egyptian officials say a large car bomb has exploded near a security building in Cairo. You have to stay tuned for the details after the break.